Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another exciting episode of Let's Play Minecraft, the quest for all biomes. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are back in our single-player world. But that does not mean that the Diamond Society episodes are over. No, far from it. Just means that we are now alternating between two Minecraft series. How awesome is that? So yeah, guys, I hope you've been enjoying the Diamond Society series that have been going on this channel. So far, I've certainly been enjoying making it, getting to know those awesome people over there. Go check it out if you haven't. I would highly suggest it. It's quite different from the usual stuff we do here, but at the same time, it is very, very exciting. Yep, I won't spoil anything, but please go check it out. It's awesome. Now, back to our usually scheduled programming. We have to carry on exploring and finding new stuff for our maps. Yep, that's right. We are going to be carrying on today, finding out more stuff, and as for that, we need to make our way all the way over this territory and into new territory that is before us. So yeah, the new Pokemon demos come out. I've been playing the heck out of that. I've been enjoying it thoroughly. Also, been very, very busy working on my game on the side, trying to get that up to par, getting that as nice and polished as it can be. Been doing some writing, some drawing, just all around. Been having a very, very good time lately. Okay, let's just make sure that I'm not going off horribly off course at the moment. And for those of you interested in space and stuff like that, very, very interesting development in space travel has come up over the last little bit. Apparently it's leaked. Yeah, the EM drive, for those of you that have heard of it, it's supposed to be a new type of engine that runs off hydrogen, if I believe it. If I'm stating it correctly. Those of you that know more about space travel can perhaps correct me down in the comments if I'm wrong. But it works off hydrogen, which means it's a clean fuel, clean energy source that apparently can propel us from here to the moon in 4 days. Now, for those of you that don't know how ridiculous that is insane. That is so fast. That is amazing. Basically, if this thing is real and NASA's testing it and it has had successful tests, which means pretty much it is real, things are going to change very drastically in the next few years, even on Earth travel, not even on just space travel, because planes will be able to take off from a standing position, not have to worry about runways or things like that at airports anymore. Air traffic will have to be much tighter controlled, because with such great speeds, you won't even be able to see that thing flying past you. It'll probably just be a flash of light or something. So very, very exciting, but very, very scary as well, because, I mean, Concorde pretty much was the thing for speed and flight for the longest time. But the problem with Concorde is that it had to be banned because it was considered too dangerous for such fast speed to be allowed for terrorist acts and stuff like that. So one has to wonder, in terms of the new EM drive that's coming out, will it see commercial use, or will it just be used for space flight? That's a very, very interesting thing. Also, now colonization has become a whole new topic that is very interesting to look at, especially since there were already plans to go and colonize Mars. But with this new EM drive in place, it might just be more plausible to go and colonize Venus. Because interestingly enough, even though a Venus colony would have to basically be a floating colony, or a colony that was entirely up in the air all the time, the thing about it is that that particular colony would have a much higher chance of success in that sphere of the atmosphere of Venus than a colony on the surface of Mars would have. Now, that is debatable and does rely on a few certain things, but with the new EM drive, it becomes a much, much more likely option than Mars to have a colony on Venus. So that's an interesting thing to look at. Yeah, just trying to keep in the air over here. With space, colonizing space has always been a very, very interesting thing to me, because if you look back at history, it's always been about colonization. A group of people moves into land that's been occupied or hasn't been occupied by other people, and the things that result from that, and it causes conflict, and that causes history. But the search for resources, basically. But now the greatest resource that we need as mankind right now is space. I mean, we've got the oceans, and many people say maybe we should try and colonize the oceans before we try and colonize another planet. But the thing is, this planet has limited resources, and not just in terms of what it has, but the amount of damage it can take from us. So, not just from us. Say if something catastrophic were to happen to the planet, there's some unknown tectonic stress or something like that, and the whole planet blows up. What happens to the humans that are on it? Well, we're gone. But then what happens if we have a colony out in space? That dramatically increases humanity's chances of survival. That's why colonization into space is such a concern for humanity as a whole, and why it's being pursued with such favor. Basically just to have that additional inch of survivability that you don't have to worry, oh, okay, if this planet's gone, then that's humanity gone. Especially colonizing out of the solar system would be the ideal goal, because even if the sun, something were to happen with the sun and it would knock out most of the planets or something like that, at least then we'd have something in another solar system that was sustainable and humanity could carry on. Now, humanity is very, very resilient. A lot of people tend to underestimate themselves and humanity as a whole as to the resilience of our species. I mean, what other species on this planet can be said to live in as many varied environments as we do, as what we are, as mammals? I mean, there's none that I can think of, except maybe dogs and cats, but that's pretty much because of us. So it's a very, very, very interesting thing that now not only are we spreading across the whole surface of this planet, but we're about to go out into the stars. Very, very interesting indeed. So yeah, that was the first little topic that I wanted to discuss with you guys, that of space travel. If you guys have any thoughts on the matter, please leave them down in the comments below. I would be interested in hearing them, especially since there's so much that I don't know about it. You know, there's always something new to discover, always. That's what I like about that field. There's endless possibilities. I mean, the scientists basically make theories about things. They think this, they think that, but when it comes down to actually proving things, it's a completely different matter. Take the EM drive itself, for instance. I mean, it's theoretically impossible. That's what a lot of scientists have been claiming. Like, it defies quite a few laws of physics. So, it's extremely interesting once it actually comes out to see how they will deal with that. Yeah, the law of physics has just happened to me over there, the law of gravity. I went down because I didn't have enough momentum keeping me up. And we've got a little guy over here who wants to keep me down permanently. So let's just swim down through the water here. Do a bit of strafing if we can. And come around here. There looks like to be a nice hill over here in the distance. I need to keep the map out just to make sure that I'm still filling in terrain. A nice hill in the distance over here that we can take off from at least. Let's eat some food. So yeah, if the EM drive turns out to be a viable thing, it's going to be very interesting to see the new scientific progress that will be made. Because a lot of people misunderstand science. They think that a scientist's job is to make a thing, like to find out exactly what the truth is, and that is the truth now and forever. There is no going back from it. And that is a very mistaken view. And the reason why I say that's a mistaken view, and I think we'll just swim along for now, just enjoy the water and the ocean, especially since there was a creeper up on that hill. But yeah, a scientist's job is to constantly clarify the truth. And that is completely different from stating the truth. Because truth is so far beyond our reach at the moment. The level that we're at to understand the universe in its whole is so far beyond our reach that we can basically just generalize and say this is how this applies on this level. But what applies on this level doesn't necessarily apply on the next. A great analogy for that would be to look at things like school. When you're in preschool, there are certain rules. But when you move to middle school, there are completely other rules. And same when you're in high school and when you're in college. The rules change depending on the levels you go to. It's the same for science and nature. Certain laws apply at certain levels. So while certain laws hold true on the level that we're at, different laws apply at different levels. And it's understanding these different levels and what makes it up is what true science is. Finding out what applies at what level. Where science gets it wrong is it tends to say this is the law of science and this is how it is at every level. And that's a very, very dangerous thing to do. You can't apply preschoolers' law to high schoolers. It just doesn't work. The high schoolers will laugh at you. And like, for instance, the issue of work. When you're out in the job field and they try and make you do things that feel considerably schoolish, you'll often find that those businesses don't succeed. And the reason for that is the employees feel devalued. The same thing applies in science. When you try and conduct an experiment following laws that apply to something that don't apply in the level that you're working at, that experiment doesn't succeed. Why? Because those laws are not valid. They don't apply at that level. And the thing that you're experimenting on laughs at those laws. It says, I don't need to follow those laws. Those aren't the laws that were set for me. Those were set for things at a lower level. So basically, yeah, just a little bit of a talk, just to tell you guys my thoughts on things and whatnot. Always look at things from multiple approaches. Even what I'm saying now, don't take it as gospel truth, you know? I'm not all-knowing, I don't know everything. So, yeah, just use your own minds and think about things. That's the greatest advice that I can give to you. Just examine things from all angles and come to your own conclusions. Take things and put them together. That's what the human mind is so great at. Taking a little bit of everything from here, from there, from everywhere, and saying, okay, from this I can form a full image of what I'm seeing, as opposed to not being able to see something at all. We are the sum of our experiences is a famous quote, and I believe that is true to some degree, but also we're not just the sum of our experiences, but we're the sum of what we made of those experiences. We can both experience the same thing, but your perception of it will be completely different to my perception of it. And that's because we have different ways of looking at things. I mean, one of the basic examples of that is an optimist and a pessimist. They can both see the exact same situation happening before them, but one will have a completely negative view of it, while another person will have an amazingly optimistic view of it. It's just what makes us ourselves. But we mustn't let that define who we are. We can change, we can grow, we can become something that we weren't yesterday. I mean, one of the common themes in anime, and I know a lot of you don't like anime or watch anime or what, but for those of you that do, you'll know what I mean here. One of the common themes is always striving to improve on yourself, being better than the person that you were yesterday. And I think that is a very noble thing to strive towards. And the reason why I say that is because no matter who you are, you can always improve. You can always be better than who you were yesterday. Basically, entropy is the opposite of expansion. You know, it's either staying stagnant, and staying stagnant and not improving means that entropy sets in, decay sets in. Your way of life starts to stagnate and you become nothing. But if you're constantly improving, constantly innovating, constantly trying to make yourself better and improve not only on yourself, but the way you view the world around you, I'm sure that you'll start to see life is worth living. Life is something that is there to be enjoyed, to be taken in. And no matter what you're going through at this point in time, know that there is a tomorrow. And life will get there. You know, the greatest thing that time heals all? But that's not always true. Sometimes there's hurts that we carry that last us our whole lives. But one thing that is true is that those hurts can help us to grow as people. Because I believe that there is a life hereafter. And that in that life, all the experiences from this one will help to determine what sort of a life you'll live in that life. Well, guys, that was a bit of Philosophy 101 with the Thais there. Sorry if it got a bit too deep for you guys, but I hope you do enjoy these little chats that we can have, and I hope it helped any of you, those of you there. And if you disagree with me, let me know. I mean, as I said, I'm always open to learning new things and finding out more about myself and about those around me. It's very, very interesting. I don't take it personally. I'm not offended if somebody doesn't agree with me. So please feel free to. But if you agree with me, let me know as well, and why you agree with me. That's also very interesting to hear. So yeah, guys, thank you very much for listening to me. Next time we'll go back to building the palace and hopefully be talking more about Minecraft stuff than about life stuff, but generally, yeah. As always, my name is Athais. For now, Good night, and God bless. Bye! Okay guys, I don't think I've ever been this high up before. 700 and counting. Wow. This is just insane. Wow. Okay. Almost there. I'll make my way back now. Just wanted to show you guys that. It's pretty cool. Bye.